David had only been in New York for 3 days when he realized he couldn't put off the haircut any longer. His hair was sticking out at the sides, and it didn't help that the humidity was turning the top into a fluffy mess. So he searched barbershop near me and picked the one with the most five-star reviews, Rocco's Cuts. He wasn't ready for what he'd walk into. As soon as he opened the door, the sound of hip-hop spilled out onto the street. The barbershop was full. 3 chairs, 3 barbers, and a half-dozen people waiting, chatting, laughing, scrolling on their phones. A teenager in the corner was munching on chips. The walls were covered in signed jerseys and faded Polaroids. Rocco, the guy with the clippers and the Yankees cap, looked up and nodded. "Yo, you got an appointment?" David hesitated. No, I was hoping to get a cut, though." Rocco grinned. "You good, man. You next after Jamal. Take a seat." So David sat. Next to him was a guy in a red hoodie who looked over and said, "You new in town?" "Yeah," David nodded. "Just moved here from Dublin." The guy laughed. "You came to the right spot, bro. Best fades in Brooklyn. I'm Dwayne, by the way." Before David could respond, the barber in the second chair leaned over and pointed. "Yo, Dwayne, you still want the taper with the drop fade?" Dwayne replied, Yeah, keep the top tight, though. I got a date tonight." David chuckled. He was trying to follow the vocabulary. Taper. Drop fade? Keep it tight. None of that was in his English class back home. 10 minutes later, it was David's turn. He sat in Rocco's chair. The mirror in front of him was speckled with tiny hair clippings, and the cape that got wrapped around him smelled faintly of aftershave. Rocco snapped the clippers once and asked, "All right, what we doing today?" David thought for a second. Just clean it up a bit, not too short. Natural around the ears." Rocco nodded. "So we talking a mid-fade? Keep the top?" "Yeah, mid-fade sounds good," David said. Not totally sure what that meant, but trusting the vibe. Then came the question David feared. "You want a lineup?" David blinked. "A what?" Rocco smiled. "Lineup? I shape up the front. Make it sharp." David hesitated, then said, "Let's keep it soft, not too sharp." "Say less," Rocco nodded. "I got you." While Rocco started working, David relaxed. He listened to the conversations around him. The guy in the corner chair was arguing about basketball. "Man, don't tell me LeBron's better than Jordan. That's blasphemy." Someone yelled from the back, "Yo, Jordan didn't have Twitter pressure." Everyone laughed. David laughed too, even though he wasn't totally sure what Twitter pressure meant. Rocco asked, "So what brings you to New York?" "Work," David replied. "I'm with a software company, remote mostly." Rocco nodded. "Cool, you'll like it here. Loud but good people. You learn a lot, especially in shops like this." After about 15 minutes, Rocco pulled away and handed David a mirror. "Check it. That tight enough?" David looked. Clean fade. Natural edges. The top just the right length. He smiled. "Perfect. Looks great." Rocco brushed the hair off his neck and said, "All right, we good then. You need a product for the top?" Keeps it in place. David shook his head. "Nah, I'm good. Thanks, though." As he paid, Rocco handed him a card. "You ask for me next time. We'll keep it fresh." Outside, David felt lighter, and not just because of the haircut. He'd survived his first full English conversation in the barbershop, complete with slang, jokes, and real talk. Let's review a few things David picked up today. When the barber asked, "What we doing today?" that's just a casual way of saying, "What haircut would you like?" A fade is when the hair gradually shortens on the sides. Mid-fade means it starts fading halfway down the head. A taper is when the hair gradually shortens at the neck and sides, more subtle. A lineup is when the barber makes the hairline clean and sharp, like a straight edge. If you don't want anything too sharp, you can say, "Keep it natural," or "Don't go too sharp." And of course, the slang. Say less means "got it," or "I understand. No need to explain more." I got you means I'll take care of it. You good means it's okay or you're fine. Let's practice a few sentences together. Repeat after me. Just clean it up, not too short. Can you keep it natural around the edges? I'm new in town, just moved here. Say less, I got you. Nice work. In the next episode, you'll meet Olivia, who's getting her nails done in Los Angeles, and finds herself learning 5 new expressions while talking with her nail artist about breakups, birthdays, and Beyoncé. Stay with us. This is English that moves, with rhythm, with people, with real life. Olivia was sitting in the waiting area of Gloss and Glow, a trendy little nail salon tucked between a vegan cafe and a vintage bookstore on Melrose Avenue. It smelled like lavender lotion and nail polish remover, and the playlist was looping soft R&B. She wasn't nervous about the manicure. She'd had a dozen before. But this was her first time doing it in LA and her first time doing it in English outside of school. Her nail artist, a bubbly woman named Jasmine, with purple braids and a tattoo that said, "Energy doesn't lie," called her over with a smile. You Olivia? Olivia nodded, stood, and followed Jasmine to her station. Okay, girl, what are we feeling today? Natural nude, hot pink, a little sparkle? Olivia smiled. Something clean but shiny. Not too flashy. Maybe pale pink? Jasmine grinned. Say less, classic and classy. Let's make you pop, but keep it soft. Yeah, Mike. As Jasmine started filing Olivia's nails, she glanced up and asked, So, you visiting or you local? I'm visiting, Olivia replied. I'm here for a short film program. Jasmine's eyes lit up. Ooh, film, that's cute. You trying to be the next Greta Gerwig? Olivia laughed. More like trying not to panic when I direct people. You'll get there, Jasmine said, nodding. Confidence is everything. Nail that and the rest follows. The conversation flowed easily. Jasmine wasn't formal. She spoke fast, used casual slang, laughed loudly. And Olivia realized this was English, but not the English in grammar books. This was English that moved. So what made you want to do film? Jasmine asked. Olivia thought a second. I grew up watching Beyoncé music videos and imagining what was happening behind the scenes. Jasmine clapped. Girl, Beyoncé? Same. Her stuff's like cinematic perfection. You see the Lemonade visuals? Art? They both laughed. Olivia felt like she'd known Jasmine for years. About 20 minutes in, Jasmine asked, You want a little sparkle on your ring fingers? Something subtle but cute? Sure, Olivia said. Surprise me. Jasmine winked. Say less. Let's pause for a second. That expression, say less, you heard it in the last episode too. It doesn't mean don't talk. It means I got it, or no need to explain further. It's casual, current, and full of confidence. Here's another one Jasmine used. You trying to... That's short for are you trying to... It's casual, often used among friends. For example, like you trying to go out tonight? You trying to eat? Also, when she said, let's make you pop, she didn't mean explode. In style or fashion, pop means stand out or look bold. Like, that red lip really makes your outfit pop. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Let's make it pop. Now say, you trying to go to the party later? One more. Say less. I'm in. Nice. Back to Olivia. As Jasmine applied top coat, she asked, Any plans tonight? Olivia shrugged. My roommate wants to check out a jazz bar downtown. Cute. Put those nails to work. When they finished, Jasmine held up Olivia's hands like she was presenting a prize. Okay, Miss Director, you ready to conquer Hollywood now? Olivia laughed. With these nails, I feel unstoppable. They tapped phones to exchange Instagrams. Jasmine said, Come back before your shoot. I'll hook you up with set-ready nails. As Olivia left the salon, she wasn't just thinking about the shine on her hands. She was thinking about how natural the conversation had felt. No script, no pressure, just rhythm, connection, and learning, without even realizing it. Let's review the expressions and slang from today. Say less. I understand. No need to explain. You trying to... Are you trying to pop and to stand out, look stylish? Cute. Not just appearance. Used to describe ideas, outfits, plans, hook you up, help you out, give you something cool or useful. Put those nails to work. Go out and enjoy them. Live confidently one more time. Let's practice together. Repeat after me. That color makes your nails pop. Jasmine really hooked me up today. You trying to grab lunch later? Awesome. In the next episode, we'll walk into a dog park in Seattle where a shy guy named Ben tries to start a conversation with a girl whose dog won't stop chasing squirrels, and ends up learning how to flirt, politely, in English. Stick with us. English is everywhere. It's just waiting for you to talk back. Ben wasn't the kind of guy who liked small talk, or eye contact, or anything involving more than 3 sentences in a row, but he was the kind of guy who loved dogs. That's why every Sunday morning, like clockwork, he took his golden retriever Charlie to the off-leash dog park near Green Lake in Seattle. It was quiet. The people minded their own business. Dogs sniffed each other. No one expected much conversation except today. Charlie had just started sniffing a small patch of grass when he suddenly sprinted across the field, straight toward a woman in a navy hoodie. Her corgi was chasing a squirrel and completely ignoring her. Ben ran after Charlie, called out, "Charlie, no, leave it!" But by the time he reached them, Charlie had already stuck his face right in the corgi's water bowl. The woman laughed. "He's thirsty, huh?" Ben was out of breath. "Yeah, sorry, he thinks every bowl is his." She knelt to pick up her corgi. "Mine thinks every squirrel is personal." Ben chuckled. Looks like they'd make a good team. And just like that, they were talking. The woman stuck out her hand. "I'm Rachel." Ben shook it, still catching his breath. "Ben." They stood there, letting the dogs sniff each other again. "So," Rachel said, "is Charlie always this forward?" Ben smiled. "Only when water or snacks are involved." Let's pause here. When Rachel said, "Is Charlie always this forward?" she wasn't asking about his walking style. In this context, forward means bold or acting without hesitation, kind of like saying a little too confident. You can use it when people, or even dogs, do something unexpected or pushy. For example, that guy was a bit forward. He asked for my number before even saying hi. It's not always negative. It can be funny, teasing, or even flirtatious, depending on the tone. Let's practice. Repeat after me. He's pretty forward for a dog. Now you try. She's not shy. She's just a little forward. Nice. Back to the story. Rachel tossed her corgi a tennis ball and asked, "So, are you from around here?" Ben nodded. "Yeah, I live about 10 minutes from here. How about you?" "I just moved here from Austin," she said. "Big change. Less BBQ, more rain." Ben laughed. "Yeah, Seattle's allergic to sunshine." Rachel grinned. "That should be on a t-shirt." She pulled a treat from her pocket and offered one to Charlie. "He okay with peanut butter?" Ben nodded. "He'll love you forever if you give him that." Rachel looked at Charlie, who was already sitting and wagging. "This guy gets me." They stood there for a few more minutes watching the dogs tumble around. Then Rachel asked, "So, do you come here often? I mean, with Charlie?" Ben hesitated for half a second, then said, "Every Sunday morning." Rachel smiled. "Well, maybe we'll run into each other again." Ben looked at her, trying to sound casual. "Or, I could bring extra treats next time. In case your squirrel chaser needs backup." Rachel laughed. "Deal." Let's break that down. When Ben said run into each other again, that's a very common expression. It means meet someone unexpectedly, just by chance. Like, I ran into my college friend at the bookstore. And when he said, in case your squirrel chaser needs backup, that was a clever way to offer a reason to see her again, without directly asking for her number. It's playful, casual, and effective. Also notice Rachel said, "This guy gets me." That's slang for "this dog understands me," or "we're on the same wavelength." People often say this jokingly when they feel a connection, even with pets. Let's try a few key phrases from today. Repeat after me. Do you come here often? Now you try. I just moved here from Austin. Again. He totally gets me. Let's add a few casual slang phrases Rachel used. When she said Seattle's allergic to sunshine, she didn't mean it literally. That's a playful exaggeration. People often say things like, I'm allergic to early mornings. This phone is allergic to charging properly. It means the thing avoids or fails at something, often in a humorous way. And finally, Rachel used less BBQ, more rain. That's a style of speech called contrast phrasing. It's short, punchy, and super common in conversation. You might hear, less talking, more doing. Less drama, more coffee. Try making one of your own. Say it out loud. Less srein as one. More nas das brinan. Go on. You can do it. Maybe. Less fear, more speaking. That fits today's episode, doesn't it? In the next episode, we'll follow Marcus, who walks into a phone store to get help with his broken screen, and ends up learning the hard way how to ask questions, explain a problem, and negotiate politely in English. From dog parks to phone repairs, English isn't just something you study. It's something you live. See you there. Marcus stood in front of the counter at TechFix, holding his cracked iPhone like it was a wounded animal. The screen looked like a spider web, and the top half wouldn't respond to touch. He had dropped it face down on the pavement last night, just as he was replying to a message he should have ignored. The guy behind the counter wore a black hoodie and had a name tag that read Eli. He looked up from the screen and said, Yo, man, what happened here? This thing got into a fight or something? Marcus gave a weak laugh. Kind of, it lost. Eli took the phone and gave it a quick glance. You got any idea what happened internally or just the screen? Marcus shrugged. It won't swipe up. The touch works on the bottom, but the top half's completely dead. Eli nodded. All right, so probably a digitizer issue, maybe some board damage. Let me open it up and see. As Eli got to work, Marcus looked around the store. There was a dad trying to calm a crying kid with a tablet that wouldn't turn on. A teenage girl was staring anxiously at her phone while the other tech guy wiped sweat off a circuit board. Eli said, By the way, your battery's swollen. You been noticing it overheating? Marcus blinked. Yeah, actually, gets hot when I charge it. There you go, Eli said. That's lithium talking. It's puffing up. Let's pause here. When Eli said, that's lithium talking, he didn't mean the battery was actually speaking. It's slang. A playful way of blaming the battery's strange behavior on its chemical makeup. It's informal, often used in tech or mechanic settings. Kind of like saying, that's caffeine talking when someone's hyperactive. Or that's jet lag talking when someone says something silly after a long flight. Back to the scene. Marcus asked, So, is it fixable? Eli leaned back. Yeah, we can replace the screen and swap out the battery. Might take a couple hours. You want to wait or come back later? I'll come back, Marcus said. Can I leave my number? Eli handed him a clipboard. Write it down and don't worry. We'll take good care of her. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Her? Eli grinned. Phones are family, bro. Gotta respect the hustle. Let's unpack that. When Eli said, gotta respect the hustle, he meant phones work hard. We rely on them 24/7. So treating them with care is part of modern life. In slang, the hustle can mean hard work, effort, or daily grind. You might hear, she's got that hustle mindset. Or, this city's all hustle, no sleep. Let's practice some useful phrases from Marcus's visit. Repeat after me. My phone won't respond to touch. Now you try. The screen is cracked, and the top half is dead. One more. It gets hot when I charge it. Good job. Let's also try some of Eli's phrases. Say it with me. Let me open it up and take a look. Probably a digitizer issue. You want to wait or come back later? Nice. These are practical, real-life expressions. Not textbook sentences, but the kind of English you hear when something actually goes wrong. Now here's a bonus. When Marcus came back later that afternoon, Eli handed him the phone with a fresh screen, no cracks, and a new battery. Good as new, Eli said. Treat her right this time. Marcus smiled. I will. No more texting while walking. Eli replied, Smart move. Sidewalks in this city fight back. Marcus laughed. Thanks, man. You saved my Monday. Eli gave a quick fist bump and said, Anytime, bro. You're in the system now. Next time, smoother. Let's pause on that last bit. You're in the system now. That means your info's saved in our records. You're a returning customer. But the way Eli said it, friendly, casual, made it feel less like business, more like belonging. That's real English. Let's go over a few more expressions before we wrap up. It lost a fight. Joking way to describe a badly damaged phone. She's puffing up. Casual way to describe battery swelling. Phones are family. Humorous exaggeration shows how attached we are. Sidewalks fight back. Playful personification. City life is rough. You're in the system. Your info's saved for future visits final practice round. Repeat after me. It lost a fight with the sidewalk. She's puffing up. Time for a battery swap. You're in the system now. Great work. In the next episode, we'll step into something a little more tense. A parent-teacher conference, where Sarah has to explain her son's behavior in English and navigate a sensitive conversation with calm, care, and clarity. You'll learn how to express opinions respectfully, ask clarifying questions, and stay emotionally composed in English, even when the topic is tough. See you next time. Sarah sat in the small plastic chair outside room 14, holding a notebook in one hand and her son's drawing in the other. The hallway smelled faintly of crayons and floor polish. It had been years since she'd walked through a school like this, not as a student, but as a parent. Her son, Leo, was in second grade. Smart, curious, full of energy. But last week, she'd gotten a note from the school. We'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss Leo's classroom behavior. The door opened and a cheerful-looking woman stepped out. Mrs. Alvarez, Sarah stood. Yes, that's me. I'm Ms. Thompson, Leo's teacher. Come on in. They sat at a small round table. Ms. Thompson had a folder in front of her. Sarah tried to smile, but she could feel her chest tightening. Speaking English at work was one thing. Speaking English about her child, that felt different. Miss Thompson began kindly. So, first of all, Leo is very bright. He's funny, creative, and he loves to participate. Sarah let out a breath. That's good to hear. But, Ms. Thompson continued, he sometimes interrupts others, especially during group activities. He also gets frustrated when things don't go his way. Sarah nodded slowly. Yes, he can be very intense sometimes. Let's pause here. Notice how Sarah used the word intense instead of saying difficult or bad. That's a subtle, respectful way to describe a strong personality, without labeling it negatively. Now listen to how Ms. Thompson continues. I understand, and honestly, that energy can be a strength. But we're trying to help him manage it in ways that work better in the classroom setting. Sarah asked, Is he being unkind to other children? Ms. Thompson shook her head. No, he's not mean. Just a bit impatient. For example, today he told another student, You're doing it wrong during art time. We're working on using kinder words. Sarah frowned. We talk about that at home, but maybe I need to do more. Let's pause again. In moments like this, tone matters more than vocabulary. Notice how Sarah didn't defend or deny. She didn't panic. She acknowledged the issue gently. Maybe I need to do more. Here's another great phrase to use in situations like this. How can I support what you're doing at school? Back to the conversation. Sarah asked, how can I help from my side? Ms. Thompson smiled. That's great to hear. We're encouraging him to raise his hand before speaking. Maybe you could reinforce that at home. Yes, Sarah nodded. We'll practice. And I can remind him to be patient when someone's doing something differently. Miss Thompson opened the folder and handed Sarah a copy of Leo's class journal. Here's something sweet. He wrote this during writing time. Sarah read aloud. My mom makes the best pancakes. She always listens to my stories, even the long ones. She smiled, eyes softening. He really adores you, Miss Thompson said. Sarah looked up. Thank you for telling me the truth, but with kindness. Miss Thompson nodded. It's clear you care. That makes all the difference. Let's break down some useful expressions and techniques from this meeting. When Miss Thompson wanted to give criticism gently, she said, We're working on... And he sometimes interrupts. This is more polite than saying he always interrupts or he's being a problem. When Sarah wanted to express concern without sounding defensive, she used phrases like, Is he being unkind? And maybe I need to do more. Now let's practice a few key phrases. Repeat after me. Is there something I can do at home to help? We'll practice that together. Thank you for being honest and kind. Good. Let's also learn a few classroom-related vocabulary words. Raise his hand. Wait for permission to speak. Take turns. Allow others to speak or act in order group activity. Tasks done with classmates' journal. Notebook where students write personal reflections. Now here's some helpful emotional vocabulary. Impatient. Can't wait easily. Frustrated. Upset when things don't go well. Encouraging, giving support, managing emotions, learning to control reactions. If you're ever in a situation like this, here are some sentence starters that can help. Can you give me an example? I appreciate your honesty. We'll talk about it at home. What's been working well with him? Remember, parenting is communication, and when English is your second language, it's okay to pause, breathe, and choose your words with care. That's not weakness, it's strength. At the end of the meeting, Miss Thompson walked Sarah to the door. Leo is lucky to have a mom who listens, she said. Sarah smiled. We're both learning. In the next episode, we'll be heading into a completely different world. The gym. You'll meet Jacob, who signs up for his first fitness class in English, and quickly finds out that understanding burpees, spot me, and you got this is a workout for both the body and the brain. See you there. Jacob stood at the front desk of Flex Zone Fitness, already regretting his decision. He had promised himself this year would be different. New city, new routine, new him. But as he filled out the membership form and overheard the trainer yelling, "Let's go, drop and give me 10," from across the room he felt his legs go a little soft. Hi, I'm here for the group class, he said. The woman at the desk gave him a friendly smile. Awesome. First time? He nodded. Yeah, please don't let them kill me. She laughed. You'll be fine. Just follow Coach Ray's lead and drink water. He walked into the training area. A row of kettlebells lined the floor. Music thumped from overhead speakers, and there, standing in front of a whiteboard full of squiggly exercises, was Coach Ray, muscular, loud, and full of energy. All right, team, Ray called out. Today's a full-body burner. We've got jump squats, high knees, mountain climbers, and, yes, burpees. Let's warm up. Jacob had no idea what half of those things were, but everyone else started moving, so he followed. Let's pause here. Burpees, high knees, mountain climbers. These are common gym terms that sound intense, but you don't need to know every movement to understand the vibe. A burpee is a full-body exercise. Squat down, kick your legs back, do a push-up, jump up. It's as dramatic as it sounds. High knees running in place while lifting your knees high. Mountain climbers in push-up position, running your legs in place, fast. Coach Ray shouted, "Keep that core tight. You got this." Jacob gasped for breath. Does dying count as progress? The guy next to him, mid-plank, chuckled. Only if you come back tomorrow. They introduced themselves during the water break. I'm Eric, the guy said. You new here? Jacob, he panted. Yeah, I just moved from Portland. Eric nodded. Cool, you jumped right into the fire. Jacob wiped his forehead. I thought I was signing up for yoga. Eric laughed. This is yoga, just angry yoga. Back to the action. Coach Ray clapped her hands. Grab a kettlebell. Next up, deadlifts and goblet squats. Jacob looked confused. Eric pointed. That's a kettlebell. Looks like a metal teapot. Jacob picked one up. Too heavy. Tried another. Better. Coach Ray walked by. Looking good, Jacob. Just remember, flat back, slow and controlled. Jacob nodded, adjusting his form. Thanks. I haven't sweated this much since I got lost in Madrid. She laughed. Well, this ain't tourism, this is transformation. Let's unpack some of that language. You got this super common informal encouragement. Like, you can do it. Jumped right into the fire. Slang for starting something difficult with no warm-up. Flat back, slow and controlled. Typical gym coaching language. Encourages good posture and safe movements. Now let's go back to that moment when Jacob introduced himself. I thought I was signing up for yoga. That's a classic way to express surprise in a joke. You might say, I thought I was ordering a coffee, not a lecture. Also notice how Eric said, this is yoga, just angry yoga. That's humor built from contrast. Phrases like that are casual, smart, and full of personality. Let's practice a few together. Repeat after me. You got this. I jumped right into the fire. That was supposed to be yoga. One more. Keep your core tight. Nice. Let's learn a few slang terms from the gym. Burner, an intense workout core. Your abs and lower back muscles form. The correct way to do an exercise rep. One full movement. Repetition. Set. A group of reps. Jacob made it through the class, barely. At the end, he collapsed on the floor next to Eric and whispered, So, how long till I stop feeling like I've been hit by a truck? Eric replied, 2 weeks, maybe 3, but hey, your English sounds great when you're breathless. Jacob smiled. I guess pain makes me fluent. Coach Ray walked by. You coming back Thursday? Jacob gave a weak thumbs up. If I can walk. Perfect, she said. That means we did it right. Let's recap today. You learned how to survive a gym class, linguistically and physically. You heard expressions like, you got this, flat back, grab a kettlebell, and this ain't tourism, this is transformation. You also saw how humor and encouragement show up in casual English, especially when everyone's tired together. In the next episode, you'll meet Camille, who walks into a vintage bookstore in London and strikes up a quiet, charming conversation with the shop owner about poetry, secondhand jackets, and how to say, I'm just browsing, without sounding rude. Get ready for a gentler rhythm, but no less real. Rain was falling lightly on Camden High Street when Camille ducked into a small shop with a hand-painted sign that read, The Book Nook, Rare and Used. The bell above the door gave a soft chime. The smell inside was like old paper, leather, and just a hint of cinnamon. Shelves stretched from floor to ceiling, some tilted, some stacked 2 books deep. A radio played faint jazz in the background. Camille slipped off her coat and started walking slowly between the shelves. She wasn't looking for anything in particular. She just liked the quiet. Behind the counter was an older man in a cardigan, reading a worn paperback with a cup of tea steaming beside him. After a moment, he looked up and smiled. Afternoon, he said. Let me know if you need anything. Camille smiled back. Thank you. I'm just browsing. Let's pause here. That phrase, I'm just browsing, is perfect when you want to look around a store without buying anything immediately. It's polite, soft, and helps set expectations. You can also say, I'm just having a look, thank you. Or, I'm not looking for anything specific. Let's try. Repeat after me. I'm just browsing, thanks. Now say, I'm just having a look. Great. Back to the story. Camille ran her fingers along the spines of books until she found a small section labeled Poetry, Slightly Damaged but Still Brilliant. She smiled. The shopkeeper looked up again. If you're into poetry, that shelf on your left has some Sylvia Plath and a lovely edition of Neruda. Camille replied, I'll definitely check that out. I like things with a bit of... Where? The man nodded. Well, secondhand books are like secondhand coats. Bit of history, bit of mystery. Let's stop and take that in. That sentence, bit of history, bit of mystery, is the kind of poetic rhythm you hear from people who love words. It's not slang, it's style. You can use that pattern when describing vintage things, relationships, or even places. This cafe's got a bit of history, bit of mystery. She's got that old soul energy. Bit of history, bit of mystery. Let's say it together. Bit of history, bit of mystery. Camille picked up a small blue book. Its title was faded. She opened it, and a train ticket from 1996 fell out. She held it up. Someone left a story inside the story, she said. The shopkeeper smiled. Happens more than you'd think. You wouldn't believe the things I've found inside books. Love letters, grocery lists, even a pressed flower once. That's kind of beautiful, Camille said. People leave pieces of themselves behind, he replied. Books remember. They stood in silence for a moment, and then Camille asked, Do you take trade-ins? I have some books at home looking for a new life. Of course, he said. Bring them in. We don't pay much, but we're generous with tea and conversation. Let's review a few lovely phrases from this encounter. Secondhand, not brand new. Used before browsing. Looking around casually, not seriously shopping trade-ins. When you give something, like books, in exchange for credit or small payment. Bit of history, bit of mystery. Poetic description of something with charm and character. Books remember. Personification. Giving books human qualities. Also, when Camille found the old train ticket, her sentence, Someone left a story inside the story. That's an expressive, emotional way to describe a discovery. This kind of poetic phrasing is part of natural English when people get reflective. Let's practice a few soft but real-world phrases. Repeat after me. I'm just browsing, thank you. This book has so much character. Do you take trade-ins? I like things with a bit of wear. Now try saying this with rhythm. Bit of history, bit of mystery. Beautiful. Before leaving the store, Camille picked 2 books and placed them gently on the counter. I wasn't planning to buy anything, she said, but they found me. The shopkeeper chuckled. The best ones always do. As she stepped back outside, the rain had stopped. She hugged the books close and whispered to herself, Definitely coming back. And just like that, English became not just a tool, but part of the memory. In the next episode, we turn up the volume again. You'll follow Jordan, who finds himself unexpectedly stuck at the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles, where English becomes a survival skill in a room full of forms, numbers, and endless waiting. You'll learn how to stay patient, ask for clarification, and understand real-world phrases that aren't printed on any form. See you there. Jordan glanced up at the digital screen. Now serving. B203. He looked down at the little paper ticket in his hand. D4-21. It was going to be a long afternoon. The DMV waiting room was packed. Fluorescent lights buzzed. A baby was crying in the far corner. Somewhere nearby, a man kept sighing loudly every 2 minutes. The line moved at the speed of erosion. Jordan muttered under his breath, "This is like a test of the human spirit." The woman next to him chuckled. "Or a test of your lunch break." Jordan turned to her. She was older, holding a stack of documents and a reusable coffee cup. "Hi," she said. "First time at the DMV?" He nodded. "Is it that obvious?" She smiled. "You've got the I just want to do one thing and leave face." Let's pause there. That phrase, "is it that obvious?" is often used when you realize your emotion or reaction is written all over your face. It's casual, self-aware, and used humorously. Let's try. Repeat after me. "Is it that obvious?" Nice. Back to Jordan. He explained, "I moved here last month. I'm just trying to exchange my out-of-state license." She nodded. You need Form DL-44. "I have Form 14A, Jordan said, holding it up like a sad trophy. She winced. "Wrong form. But you're not the first." "Don't worry." Let's stop again. In real life, public offices like the DMV use a lot of codes and form names. It's easy to feel overwhelmed. But most people around you, staff and fellow customers, are used to helping if you ask clearly and politely. Here are a few useful phrases for these situations. "Excuse me, could you help me find the right form? I'm not sure which number I should take." "Is this the line for license renewals?" "Sorry, could you repeat that more slowly?" Let's practice. Say it with me. "Could you help me find the right form?" And, "I'm not sure which line I should be in." Excellent. An hour passed. Jordan finally heard, "Now serving D421, window 9. He jumped up, approached the glass window. The staff member didn't look up. "Hi, what are we doing today?" Jordan replied, "I'm exchanging my out-of-state license for a California one." The woman behind the glass nodded. "Do you have proof of residence?" He hesitated. I brought a lease and a utility bill." "Perfect," she said. "Any traffic violations in the last 6 months?" Jordan blinked. "No, just one speeding ticket last year, in Oregon." She nodded again. "Okay, that shouldn't affect you. Please fill this out, sign here, and I'll need your thumbprint after the photo." He exhaled. "Okay, thank you." Let's pause. What are we doing today? That's casual DMV speak for "how can I help you?" Staff often use quick, clipped phrases to move things along. Proof of residence. Any document showing you live where you say, lease, bill, bank statement. Violations. Legal issues on your record. Tickets, accidents. Thumbprint. Yes, sometimes required. And the most useful phrase of all, that shouldn't affect you. In this case, it means it's not a big deal, it won't cause a problem. Let's practice that. Repeat after me. Do you have proof of residence? Now say, that shouldn't affect you. Good. Back to Jordan. He filled out the form carefully. Signed where indicated. Got his photo taken, which he described later as haunted passport energy, and gave a very confused-looking thumbprint on a digital pad. When it was all done, the DMV staffer said, "You'll get the new license in the mail within 10 business days. Keep this paper as a temporary ID." Jordan smiled. "That's it?" She nodded. "Congratulations, you survived." He laughed. "Do I get a sticker?" "No," she said flatly. "But you get your time back." As Jordan walked out, he noticed the woman from earlier was still waiting. She looked up. "Made it?" He nodded. "And I didn't even cry once." She gave him a thumbs up. "You passed the DMV emotional exam." Let's go over the most useful phrases from today. What are we doing today? Quick way of saying, how can I help? I'm just trying to renew, exchange my license. Your goal? Do you have proof of residence? Documents like lease, bill, etc. That shouldn't affect you. Used to say a problem is not serious. You survived. A funny way to say you made it through. And some casual expressions. This is a test of the human spirit. Exaggeration to describe long, annoying waits. Haunted passport energy. Slangy, joking way to describe a bad ID photo. You passed the emotional exam. Not real, but relatable humor. Practice a few now. Repeat after me. I'd like to exchange my out-of-state license. Here's my lease and utility bill. Is this the right form? Perfect. In the next episode, we'll slow down again and visit a community cooking class where Minji, a Korean student, learns how to make lasagna and ends up learning more than just recipe vocabulary. She'll discover how to give compliments, ask questions politely, and navigate kitchen banter like a native. Bring your apron. We're going in. Minji tied the apron around her waist and glanced around the community center kitchen. There were 6 cooking stations, a pile of tomatoes on the counter, and a large poster on the wall that read, Lasagna Night. Let's layer some love. She had signed up for this class partly out of curiosity, but mostly to make friends. A woman wearing bright red lipstick waved her over. You alone, honey. Want to team up? Minji smiled. Sure, I'm Minji. D, the woman said. Retired nurse. Serious about cheese. Minji laughed. That's a good combination. D pointed to the recipe card. All right, we've got onions to chop and sauce to simmer. You any good with knives? Minji hesitated. I'm... Careful. Good enough, D said. I'll chop fast, you stir slow. Let's pause here. When D asked you alone, honey, want to team up, she wasn't being too familiar. This is warm, casual English. People often shorten sentences in friendly environments. Want to team up? Do you want to be on the same team? You any good with knives? You know, short for, are you good with knives? Let's try it. Repeat after me. Want to team up? Now say, you any good with cooking? Nice. Back to Minji. They began chopping. D tossed chopped onions into the pan and said, Let's get this party started. Nothing says home like garlic and oil. Minji nodded. Smells like something's happening. You cook much? D asked. Minji shrugged. Mostly rice and ramyun. This is new for me. D smiled. Well, we're going to change that tonight. As the sauce simmered, the instructor, Chef Marco, walked by and peeked into their pan. Nice consistency, he said. Looking real good. Minji turned to D. What does he mean, consistency? Oh, D replied. He's talking about the texture. You know, thick, smooth, not too runny. Let's pause again. Consistency in cooking means how thick or smooth something is. You can describe it like this. Too watery. Nice and thick. Perfect texture. And when D said, nothing says home like garlic and oil, that's a poetic way to express familiarity or comfort. It means this smell or feeling reminds you of something warm or safe. It's common in English to say, nothing says summer like fresh lemonade. Nothing says Sunday like pancakes. Let's practice. Repeat after me. Nothing says comfort like soup on a cold night. Now try. Consistency is perfect. It's not too watery. Good job. Back to our kitchen. They began layering the lasagna. Pasta, sauce, cheese, repeat. D handed Minji the mozzarella. Go ahead, don't be shy. We want this thing cheesy enough to write love songs about. Minji laughed and sprinkled generously. How's that? Beautiful, D said. That's what I call cheese therapy. Minji paused. Is that a real thing? Only if you believe hard enough, D winked. They popped the tray into the oven and leaned against the counter. D looked at Minji. So, what do you study? Digital design, Minji replied. but lately I feel like I study conversation. D smiled. Best subject there is. Let's look at more language. Don't be shy. A common way to say, go ahead, don't hesitate. Cheesy enough to write love songs about. This is playful exaggeration, using humor to describe a lot of cheese. Cheese therapy? Not a real phrase, but a fun way to describe the comfort food gives you. People often invent phrases like this in conversation. That's what makes English feel alive. Let's try a few. Don't be shy. Go for it. This sauce is smooth like jazz. That's what I call comfort food. Great. As the lasagna baked, the kitchen filled with warmth. People were chatting, laughing, wiping their hands on aprons. Minji turned to Dee and said, "Thanks for being so easy to talk to." Dee gave her a soft nudge. "Honey, this is a kitchen, not a classroom. You're doing just fine." At the end of the night, they all sat down together at a long wooden table, steam rising from the food. Minji took a bite and smiled. "It tastes better because we made it together." Dee raised her fork. That's the magic ingredient. Let's recap. You learned how to speak naturally in a casual kitchen setting. You picked up phrases like, "Want to team up?" "Don't be shy." "Cheese therapy." And nothing says "Nialastasham" like "Mawasawaik." These are all part of how English lives, in flour-dusted fingers, in laughter, in shared meals. In the next episode, you'll meet Ahmed, a rideshare driver in Chicago, who navigates heavy traffic, small talk, and deep conversations with strangers from all over the world. You'll learn how to handle directions, casual questions, and cultural comments with ease. See you in the passenger seat. The app buzzed. Pick up. Madison and Wabash. Ahmed tapped accept and pulled into the curb lane. The city was alive with lunch rush chaos. Buses wheezing past, sirens in the distance, and a guy selling pretzels yelling, "Hot and fresh," at everyone. A woman with a beige tote bag got in the back seat. "Hi, are you Ahmed?" "Yep, welcome in." She clipped her seatbelt. "Thanks. We're headed to Belmont and Clark?" "You got it." Let's pause. That last line, "you got it," is a super common friendly way to say, "Yes, I understand," or "Yes, I'll do that." Other casual alternatives include, "No problem." "Sure thing." "All set." "Try it." "Repeat after me." "You got it." "Sure thing." Perfect. Back to the story. As Ahmed pulled into traffic, the woman asked, "Is it always this crazy at lunchtime?" He chuckled. "Only when the Cubs aren't losing, then it gets worse." She laughed. "Fair point." "First time in Chicago?" Ahmed asked. "Yeah, I'm here for a job interview. A little nervous, honestly." Ahmed glanced in the mirror. "You picked a great city. Just remember to fake confidence till it becomes real." Let's break that down. Fake confidence till it becomes real. That's not a grammar rule, it's street wisdom. In English, people often say, "Fake it till you make it." It means act like you belong, even if you're nervous. Eventually, it'll feel natural. Let's try. Fake it till you make it. You got this. Back to the ride. The traffic light turned red. Ahmed turned down the radio a notch. "So, what's the job?" "Marketing assistant," she said. "Honestly, I just hope I don't say something awkward." Ahmed smiled. "Say something awkward early. It breaks the ice. Then people feel human." She grinned. That's surprisingly good advice. Let's pause again. Break the ice. A very common idiom. It means to ease tension in a new or awkward situation, usually by starting conversation. Other common phrases used in rideshare or casual chat include, "Are you from around here?" "What brings you to town?" "Heading to work or something fun?" Let's practice. "Is this your first time here?" "Don't worry, you're going to do great." Sometimes small talk leads to real talk. Nice. As they neared the destination, the woman said, I should probably stop talking and rehearse my answers. Ahmed nodded. Sure, but don't rehearse your smile. That one's good already. She laughed. Thanks. Best pep talk I've had all week. When she got out, she gave Ahmed 5 stars before even closing the door. Let's reflect on the conversation. You learned how to welcome a passenger, welcome in, confirm a destination, you got it, share encouragement, fake it till you make it, build connection, break the ice, and kindly don't rehearse your smile. These are more than words. They're emotional tools, ways of building trust, easing nerves, and being human, even for just a 10-minute ride. Now let's practice a few lines together. Repeat after me. Welcome in. You got it. Fake it till you make it. Break the ice with something real. Awesome. In the next episode, we'll go to a totally different place. A local farmer's market where Jasmine, a plant lover and introvert, learns how to ask questions, make polite small talk with vendors, and describe flavors in English, from earthy to zesty to too spicy for my face. Bring your shopping tote. We're going exploring. The sun was just starting to peek through the trees when Jasmine arrived at the neighborhood farmer's market with a reusable tote over her shoulder and exactly $30 in her pocket. She didn't come just to buy vegetables, she came to practice talking. Not with classmates or teachers, but with real people. Vendors, strangers, the kind who call you darling and throw in a free apple if you smile wide enough. She stopped at the first stall, where a man with sunburned arms and a Cubs cap was arranging cherry tomatoes into neat little pyramids. Morning, he said. Want to try one? Jasmine smiled shyly. Sure. She popped a tomato in her mouth and her eyes lit up. Wow, that's intense. Sun-grown, the man grinned. They've got kick. Let's pause. When Jasmine said, that's intense, she didn't mean scary. In food talk, intense often means strong in flavor, bold, unexpected. And the vendor said, they've got kick. That's casual English for they have a strong flavor, sometimes spicy or zesty. You'll hear this with things like, this salsa's got a kick. Ginger tea? Yeah, that stuff kicks. Let's try it. That's intense, but in a good way. This sauce has a real kick. Great! Back to the tomatoes. Jasmine asked, how much for one of these boxes? $4, the vendor said. Or 2 for $7. She nodded. I'll take 2. They're like candy. He chuckled. Nature's Skittles. As he packed the tomatoes, Jasmine noticed a small sign next to a jar. Try our smoked honey, local and wild. She pointed. Smoked? Honey? Yep, he said. We cold smoke it over applewood. Adds depth. Want a taste? He handed her a tiny spoon. Jasmine tried it and blinked. That's not weird, but I like it. Best kind of weird, the man replied. Let's look at that phrase. That's weird, but I like it. This is a great sentence to show open-mindedness, especially with food, music, or new experiences. You can say, that's unusual, but in a good way. It's not what I expected, but I'm into it. Also, the vendor used adds depth. In food English, that means it makes the flavor more complex, layered, interesting. Let's practice. This tea adds a depth of flavor. It's weird, but kind of amazing. Nice. Jasmine paid for a jar and moved to the next stand, where an older woman was arranging bunches of herbs. Hi, Jasmine said. Is this mint? Lemon balm, the woman corrected gently. Looks like mint, smells like lemon. Jasmine picked up a leaf and sniffed. Wow, you're right. Steep it in tea, the woman said. Calms the nerves. I might need a gallon of that, Jasmine joked. Let's pause again. Steep it in tea, to soak herbs in hot water. Calms the nerves, makes you feel less anxious. Also, Jasmine said, I might need a gallon of that. That's exaggeration for humor. People use phrases like this all the time. I need a truckload of coffee. I could eat a mountain of fries. I might need 10 of these. Try it. I could drink a bucket of that tea. I need a whole forest of this scent. Excellent. Before leaving, Jasmine turned back and asked, "What's the best way to describe this lemon balm? I'm learning English." The vendor smiled. Earthy, bright, a little citrusy, and friendly, like a lazy Sunday. Jasmine laughed. I like that. Let's review some flavor adjectives from today. Zesty, lively, slightly tangy, smoky, has a taste like it's been cooked over fire or wood. Earthy, natural, reminds you of soil or herbs. Bright, fresh, slightly acidic. Citrusy, tasting like lemon, lime, orange. Mild, soft, not strong. Kick, strong flavor, often spice. Now try repeating that honey was smoky and sweet. These tomatoes are bright and bold. This herb smells earthy, like a garden after rain. Perfect. As Jasmine walked home tote full of color and scent, she felt different. Not because of what she bought, but because of how she'd spoken. She hadn't memorized lines. She hadn't practiced grammar. She had just connected. In the next episode, we head indoors again, into a small music studio where Tom, a shy guitarist, tries his first jam session in English. He'll have to learn how to talk about rhythm, timing, mistakes, and most of all, how to speak up, even when his voice shakes a little. Let's tune in next time. Tom stood outside the small recording studio on Pine Street, holding his guitar case like a shield. He had been invited by a friend of a friend to join an open jam. Just casual, no pressure. But for Tom, speaking English was already nerve-wracking. Speaking while playing guitar? That felt like learning to fly and juggle at the same time. He stepped in. The air smelled like coffee, old cables, and hope. A tall guy in a denim jacket waved him over. You Tom? Yeah, he said, voice low. I'm Nate. We're just warming up. You want to plug in? Tom nodded and opened his case. Let's pause. Want to plug in? Is short for, do you want to connect your guitar to the amp? It's also a casual way to invite someone into the flow. Let's practice. Want to plug in? Yeah, just give me a second. Nice. Back to the studio. Nate introduced him to the others. This is Mia on keys, Ben on bass, and Joe behind the kit. Joe raised her drumsticks. Hey, Tom smiled. Hi, everyone. Mia said, we're starting with a simple 12-bar blues. Just follow the groove. No one's here to judge. Tom nodded. I'll do my best. Nate grinned. That's all we ever do. Let's break that down. Follow the groove. In music, this means stay with the rhythm, the feel. But it's also used metaphorically. You might hear, just go with the groove. Go with the flow. Don't overthink. No one's here to judge. Very common reassurance in casual English. It means, you're safe to make mistakes here. Let's say it together, just follow the groove. No one's here to judge. Good. Back to the jam. They started playing. Tom listened carefully. The chord changes were familiar, but what surprised him was the language floating between the music. Ben called out, watch the turnaround. Mia shouted, let it breathe. Joe added, slow down on that fill, we're drifting. After the first run, Nate turned to Tom. You got a sweet tone, man, but don't be afraid to stretch a little. We're not reading sheet music, we're reading each other. Tom smiled, relieved. Okay, I'm still figuring it out. Figuring it out is the point, Joe said, tapping her sticks. Nobody nails it the first round. Let's pause again. Watch the turnaround. In blues, that's the part where the progression cycles back. But in English in general, watch the turnaround can mean be careful with sudden changes or transitions. Let it breathe. A musical way to say pause, give space, don't overcrowd. Also used in speaking, let the moment breathe. Don't rush. And Nate's line, we're not reading sheet music, we're reading each other. That's a deep one. It means feel the people, not just the notes. In conversation, too, we listen for tone, emotion, not just words. Let's try. Let it breathe. We're reading each other, not just the page. Watch the turnaround. It's coming fast. Nice job. They played 3 more songs. By the last one, Tom took a solo. It wasn't perfect. He missed a note, then another, but no one stopped him. When they finished, Mia clapped. Nice one. You've got feel, dude. Tom exhaled. Sorry for the weird ending. Jo waved her stick. Please, weird is what makes it fun. Let's review the language from today. Want to plug in? Join in, get connected. Follow the groove. Go with the rhythm. No one's here to judge. You're safe to try. Let it breathe. Slow down, give space. We're reading each other. Feel the room, not just the plan. You've got feel. Compliment on emotional, expressive playing. And now some emotional vocabulary useful in both music and speech. Nervous, unsure, shaky. Stretch. Try something new. Push limits. Figuring it out. Still learning, not perfect. Drifting. Losing focus or direction. Feel. Emotional instinct. Connection. Let's practice. I'm still figuring it out. Let's slow down and let this moment breathe. I missed a note, but I didn't stop. Beautiful. As Tom packed up his guitar, Nate clapped him on the back. Same time next week? Tom hesitated, then smiled. Yeah, I'd like that. He walked home humming because for the first time his English felt less like grammar and more like music. In the next episode, you'll meet Alina, who goes on her first house tour in English while hunting for an apartment. You'll learn how to describe spaces, ask questions about rent, utilities, and navigate awkward small talk with real estate agents who love saying things like cozy and great natural light. Bring your curiosity. We're house hunting next. Alina stood on the corner of Maple Avenue staring up at a red brick building with ivy crawling halfway up the wall. She was here for her very first apartment tour in a new country, in a new city, and in a language that still made her second-guess herself every few sentences. She adjusted her scarf and took a deep breath. A woman in a neat gray coat approached with a clipboard and a smile. Hi there, you must be Alina? Yes, hi, Alina replied. I'm Kara, thanks for being on time. Shall we head in? Sure. They stepped through the old wooden door into a narrow hallway. Kara gestured up the stairs. It's a third-floor walk-up, just so you know. Alina smiled politely. That's okay. Free cardio. Let's pause. That line, free cardio, is a funny way to say that walking stairs is like exercise. You'll hear native speakers use this kind of light humor to stay positive, especially when something is inconvenient. You might also hear, who needs a gym, right? My legs are going to hate me later. Now you try 3 flights, free cardio. Who needs a treadmill? Nice. Back to the story. When they reached the unit, Kara pulled out a key and opened the door. So, this is one of our cozier studios, she said. Alina stepped inside. The space was small but clean. A single large window let in soft afternoon light. There was a tiny kitchen to the left, a corner where a bed could fit, and a sliding door that probably led to the bathroom. What do you think? Kara asked. Alina looked around. It's cute. Let's break that down. Cozy is a word that real estate agents love. It usually means small. Not always a bad thing, but good to know. Other real estate phrases that sound positive but need interpretation. Charming, maybe old or quirky. Efficient layout, very little space. Open concept, probably no doors. Lots of character almost might mean old pipes. Let's try some polite reactions. It's smaller than I expected, but I like the light. It feels cozy and quiet. I'm curious about the kitchen layout. Perfect. Back to the conversation. Alina walks slowly to the kitchen area. Is that a full-sized fridge? It's more like a compact one, Kara said. Perfect if you don't keep a ton of groceries. Alina nodded. I guess I'll finally stop hoarding frozen dumplings. They both laughed. Kara added, the rent is $100 and $200 per month. That includes water and trash. Electricity and Wi-Fi are separate. Is laundry in unit? Alina asked. There's a shared laundry room in the basement, and we do require first month, last month, and a security deposit. Let's pause and go over useful rental terms. In-unit laundry, your own washer, dryer inside. Shared laundry, one room for all tenants, first and last. Pay first and last month's rent up front. Security deposit, extra money in case of damages. Now practice a few questions. Is heat included in the rent? What's the total move-in cost? Are pets allowed in the building? Excellent. Back to Alina. She walked to the window and looked outside. It's a quiet street, she said. Yeah, it's mostly students and young professionals, Kara replied. And the neighbors are friendly, but not noisy. Alina turned. Can I ask, how old is the building? Over 80 years, Kara smiled. But everything's been updated. New plumbing, new paint, new vibe. Let's talk about tone. Kara's line, new vibe, is an example of casual modern language used to make something sound appealing. Other expressions agents might use, it has good energy. It feels airy. Lots of natural light. A hidden gem. You can respond with, I like the energy here. It feels homey. It's a bit snug, but charming. Before wrapping up, Kara asked, so, does it seem like a fit? Alina hesitated. It's really nice, but I think I'd like to see one or two more before deciding. Kara nodded. Totally fair. I can send you a couple other options. Slightly bigger, same neighborhood. Thank you. I'd appreciate that, Alina said. Let's review what you learned today. Phrases to ask about apartments. What's included in the rent? Is there a security deposit? Is laundry in unit or shared? Are utilities extra? Describing your opinion politely. It's smaller than I expected. The light is beautiful. I like the layout. It's a bit compact but cozy. And bonus casual expressions. Free cardio. Lots of character. Good energy. I'm still exploring. Repeat after me. It's cozy, but in a nice way. What's the total move-in cost? I like the vibe of this place. Well done. In the next episode, we'll meet Luis, a student who signs up to help at a community food pantry. It's loud, a bit chaotic, and full of chances to use English that's kind, quick, and full of real-world emotion, from offering help to saying, "It's okay, I got you." The sign outside read, "Free groceries open to all." Luis pulled his hoodie tight and stepped inside the community center. Folding tables lined the hallway, each covered in cans, vegetables, boxes of cereal, and handwritten labels taped to the edge. Gluten-free. For seniors. Baby formula. He had signed up for 3 hours of volunteer work, but really he signed up to practice real English. Not the kind from podcasts or textbooks, but the kind you need when someone says, "I don't have enough this week." And they're not talking about words. A woman in a blue vest waved him over. "You're Luis?" "Yes, that's me," he smiled. "I'm Carla. Thanks for helping out. You're on table 2, fruits and produce. If someone asks for help, just be kind and use your ears more than your mouth." Luis nodded. "Got it. Be helpful, not pushy." Carla smiled. "Exactly." Let's pause. That advice? Use your ears more than your mouth. It is simple but powerful. It means listen first, speak only when needed. In English conversations, especially in emotional or service situations, silence can be respectful. Other soft ways to offer help. Would you like a hand? Is there anything I can do for you? Take your time, no rush. Repeat after me. Would you like a hand? No rush. I'm here to help. Good. Back to Luis. A young woman approached his table, holding a toddler in one arm and a reusable bag in the other. Hi, she said softly. Do you guys have bananas? Luis pointed to a box. Right here. Fresh this morning. She smiled. Thank you. He noticed her bag looked full. Would you like help carrying that to your car? She hesitated, then nodded. That'd be amazing, thanks. As they walked, she said, I'm always worried about asking for too much. Luis responded gently, You're not. This place is for sharing, not judging. She blinked, smiled wider. That's kind. Let's stop again. Luis used simple, powerful words. This place is for sharing, not judging. You don't need fancy vocabulary to be supportive. You just need to be sincere. Other simple supportive phrases. You're doing great. No worries at all. We're all figuring it out. Let's try them. You're doing great. No worries. We're here for each other. Back inside, Luis helped an elderly man pick out a few canned soups. The man squinted at the labels. Too small. My eyes aren't what they used to be. Luis held up a can. This one's chicken noodle. This one's lentil. Want me to read the rest? Would you? The man asked. You've got a kind voice. Luis chuckled. Only when I'm not singing. The man laughed too. Let's take a moment. Helping someone read a label, carry a bag, or find something small, that's language in action. It's connection through care. Here are a few phrases you can use when helping someone who might need support. Can I read that for you? Let me check the label. Do you need a hand? And some thoughtful responses. I appreciate that. You're very kind. You didn't have to, but thank you. Practice with me. Let me read it for you. Take what you need, really. You didn't have to, but I'm grateful. Perfect. By the end of the shift, Luis's feet hurt, his back ached, and his heart felt strangely light. As he helped Carla fold up a table, she said, You were great today. He replied, I was nervous at first, but then people started feeling familiar. Carla nodded. You know why? Because kindness is a universal language. Let's go over today's most useful expressions. Helping and offering. Would you like a hand? Take your time, no rush. Let me read that for you. Can I help carry that? Responding with warmth. That'd be amazing. I appreciate that. You're not asking too much. We're here to share, not judge. And finally, one of the most beautiful truths in any language. Kindness is a universal language. Let's say it together. Kindness is a universal language. We're here to share, not judge. You're doing great. In the next and final episode, you'll return to where this all began. Not a specific place, but a kind of moment. Real conversation. You'll walk through a day full of little interactions, and I'll show you how English isn't a skill. It's a rhythm, a human rhythm. I'll see you in part 15. You wake up. The sun peeks through your curtains. Your phone buzzes. 8:14 a.m. You whisper to yourself, all right, let's do this. You get dressed, grab your keys, and head to your favorite coffee shop around the corner. The barista greets you with a warm, hey, the usual. You nod, then pause. Actually, let's try something new. What do you recommend? She lights up. Ooh, you're feeling adventurous today. I'd go with the oat milk latte with honey. It's like a hug in a cup. You laugh. I'll take that hug, please. Let's pause. The usual? A friendly shorthand for, do you want your regular order? Feeling adventurous means trying something new, being open, a hug in a cup. Poetic way to say comforting and warm. Repeat after me. What do you recommend? I'll take that hug in a cup. Let's try something different today. Nice. You leave the cafe and bump, lightly, into someone holding a grocery bag. Oh, I'm so sorry, you say quickly. They smile. No worries at all. Happens to the best of us. That line, happens to the best of us, is one of those phrases that makes everything feel less awkward. It means you're human, it's okay. Try it now. No worries. Happens to the best of us. Totally fine, don't sweat it. Back on the sidewalk, your friend texts you. Running late. Meet me at the bookstore in 10? You type. All good, I'll wander around till you get here. Let's look at that. All good means no problem. Wander around. Casual way to say you'll browse or stroll with no plan. Say it with me. All good. Take your time. I'll wander a bit while I wait. Now you're in the bookstore? A staff member asks, looking for anything in particular? You answer, not really, just browsing today. They nod and step back politely. That's a whole conversation built on tone and energy. You didn't need long sentences, just calm confidence. Try. Just browsing, thanks. I'll let you know if I need anything. Later, at lunch with your friend, they ask, how's your English coming along? You grin. Better every time I speak without thinking too hard. And that's the key. Because real English isn't about perfect grammar, it's about reaction, tone, timing, connection. Let's run through a mini day in phrases. Repeat after me. Morning. Hey, the usual? What do you recommend? I'll try something new today. Midday. No worries, it happens. All good, I've got time. I'll just wander while I wait. Afternoon. Just browsing, thanks. This looks interesting. What's it about? Do you have this in paperback? Evening. Thanks for today. Let's do this again soon. Take care, okay? Now take a deep breath. Look back on all 15 parts. You've traveled through a coffee shop in Brooklyn, a train platform in Seoul, a kitchen in Toronto, a DMV in California, a music studio, a farmer's market, a food pantry. And in every single one, you've learned not just what to say, but how to feel it, how to mean it, and how to let the English you use fit your life, not the other way around. So the next time someone says, your English is really good, don't brush it off. Smile and say, thanks, I've been living it. Because now you are. Thanks for walking this journey with me. And remember, the most fluent people aren't always the fastest or the fanciest. They're the ones who listen with warmth, speak with intention, and keep showing up.